to him so he can get it out to the school. So my expectation level from the info I have is Joe should be, when I get into work tomorrow or Friday, I should have the flyer template, which should give information, which Joe will then take copies and give out to all the schools. Tanya, I will make sure that you have a copy so that you have something at town hall. And so, as I said, Diane, not a lot of information, but
they are planning on going for having.
Yeah. As far as I know, yes. I think some of the holdups that I'm hearing behind the scenes is since we play with other communities, New Hartford is kind of opting out to going into the USA Baseball League, I believe. And we've been waiting to really get confirmation from them that they were doing that or not doing it. And that's why we've been a little bit delayed, according to Joe. But I would anticipate we should have information out to families by next week at this point in time. And it will also be on the youth website. So we are going to have some type of season. I don't know what that looks like yet, but we'll hit the ground running as usual on that. Okay. Other comment I just want to touch base on is that, and we talked about how windy it was the other night and everything, and trees. I did say we did have a number of trees that were identified by the town, and they were taken down in the last week or so at the playground up here, up in Manor, up in the Glendale area where I live. Did a real nice job, I think, thinning it out a bit. And then I think they've identified a few other trees downtown too, at the park too, Tanya, have they?
I'm not sure, honestly.
Okay. I saw him down there a couple of weeks ago walking along the bank there with Matt River. Maybe it was a different set of guys that were marking trees. I'm not sure. So anyway, that's kind of what I have at this point in time, guys. Any questions for me? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to item 6. Did anyone else join us at this point in time? I saw something. No Brian yet?
No Brian.
Okay, all right.
He's having trouble. He hadn't loaded the app. So that was the problem, that he didn't have the app loaded on his phone. So by the time that gets done.
Alicia's here.
Yeah, Alicia's here. You saw her.
Okay, I saw her name come across the top there, so. Okay.
I'm on. I was on my phone and then I came on my computer.
All right. Thanks, Alicia. So you're present. Good. So we'll turn it over to Tanya to talk to us about what's going on, in light of COVID and any other items she wants to discuss specifically in her director's report at this time.
All right, well, we'll start with the town ordinance changes. Everything is basically approved at this point. Everything went to the town attorney. He made a couple of minor changes. Everything went to the Board of Selectmen last meeting. And we're at the point where everything's going to get posted. And I believe Terry's email stated that everything has to be posted for 2 weeks somewhere, and then they become official. So moving forward, everything looks good with town ordinances. I sent you guys out the final draft, so everyone should have a final copy. If someone didn't get it, just let me know and I can send it out later today or tomorrow. Did everyone have time to take a final look at those?
Yeah, I looked at it. Looked good to me.
Good.
And I don't know how much wordsmithing Sean had to do, but it looked good.
Good. Sean, thank you again for helping with that.
My pleasure.
Moving forward, COVID, I mean, things are starting to open back up. CIAC is playing. As far as summer camp and stuff, we still don't have exact guidelines. I just posted yesterday for positions looking for lifeguards and summer staff. I'm going to start the process to hire, but moving forward with summer camp, not exactly sure number wise what we're allowed to do, if we're going to be allowed to go on field trips. So kind of all that's just an unknown right now. So I'm not planning on opening up anything until after April 1st for summer camp, because there's just too much unknown. We do have a bunch of programs that will be starting. We're going to do a men's basketball league outdoors starting, let me just look online when I posted it. April 20th to June 10th. So that's gonna be starting up. It's brand new. We figured we'll use the new outdoor courts, Tuesdays and Thursday nights. So that's posted. So if anyone knows any men teams that want to play, we'll be doing that. The summer art program sent me all their information, so that's all posted. I'm gonna be working with Girls on the Run, trying to get that off the ground for the springtime. Jamie, if you plan to do track and field, please let me know. We'll start talking and planning on that. Other than that, I mean, just kind of waiting to see what more guidelines bring us. One thing I do want to bring to topic is our restrooms. With COVID and everything that's going on, I'm not comfortable having multiple groups in and out of those bathrooms without having them cleaned properly. We do not have the manpower nor the time to do that. So I brought it to Gilbert's attention that they might have to get porta potties for their teams. Because if our baseball team, softball teams are using our bathrooms, it's not fair to them if Gilbert and other schools and teams are coming in using those and then putting our kids at risk. What is everyone else's thoughts on this?
I think, sorry, go ahead, Kurt.
I was gonna say, I think that makes sense. I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
for sure.
Yeah. I agree.
So I mean, right now I'm just kind of telling them like maybe they should rent a porta potty and they should keep a lock, and that's kind of designated to them. I mean, we got to do what's right for our kids and protect our kids.
Right, and they can't be cleaned every time they're used.
Right.
So,
We don't have the manpower.
right,
Yeah.
right.
They're willing to give us some money towards something, but I mean, Jim Welcome and the guys are part-time. They don't have time to come back and clene those.
No.
We have
Unless
to,
they
like-
hired on one of their staff to clean
Right,
up after it,
right.
after every single use or whatever.
And I don't know if Jim's gonna want other companies and other people in our buildings cleaning stuff. He's very
Right.
in his way. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking the best way is they can just rent their own space.
I
So
think
what-
so, for this year anyway.
Right. I mean, so I just want to make sure everyone's on the same page of like keeping our programs as our top priority. I mean, I'm fine with them using our fields and wiping down benches and everything else, but I mean, bathrooms are bathrooms, and it's kind of our top priority to keep our programs running and safe.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Have you had preliminary discussions with anyone up at the school level at this time, or you're?
He sent over all their schedules, so I'm going to start sending them to you. He sent over
Okay.
exactly like their practice schedules, their game schedules, everything.
Okay, I was going to ask you if it was if stuff started trickling out yet already.
Yep, he just sent them yesterday, so.
And just along that same lines, I did. I'll just interject real quick. I did hear through the grapevine that I believe Tri-State is looking to get the season going again at what they missed last year too. So,
Okay.
So yes, start sending me all that stuff over, and then I can start trying to draft out a master schedule, and the fun begins.
Okay.
Good. Anything else you want to present to us at this point?
I've been meeting with Jim Moore. He's a gentleman that has something to do with the music center or something in Winstead. So we're gonna be hosting live music from the playground building the month of April, Wednesday nights. It's costing us $100 every Wednesday to pay like the band, and it's gonna be live on Facebook and live on our town's website. Other towns are doing it.
Oh, okay.
He
Sounds
liked
interesting.
the idea. I said, sure. Doesn't cost us a lot of money, $400 total, and we're gonna live stream it so people that want to listen to live music could. It's kind of like how you do it in the park, but it's gonna be all streamed, and he's handling all of the back end of it. So that's gonna be on Wednesday nights at the playground building.
When you say back end, you mean they'll promote it, they'll put it on?
Well, we're promoting it. They're promoting it as well, but I mean, back end as they're videotaping it, they're like producing it, they're doing all that type of stuff. All we really have to do is add the link and let them in the building. So I mean, it just gives people more opportunities and more things when they're stuck at home. Something to do, I guess.
Right.
April 1st is, everything's posted for, You've Got Eggs for the Easter event. Jamie, you're all set with the date, time, location. Flyers are being made this week and I'm gonna bring them to the schools, the week of the, probably next Thursday. So that way all the flyers will go out and then we'll get all the, eggs out on April 1st and everything's good to go Easter event this year. At least we'll be able to get rid of our, 2,000 Easter eggs, hopefully.
So it's not gonna get canceled again this year?
No, because we're social distancing, so we're good.
I guess
Right.
so.
Right. Um, I had two things, just questions at this point. So just kind of follow up, I think, actually from last meeting. So I know one of the items that we touched on very quickly at our last meeting was the netting and protection, that between the Little League field and the bleachers over at Dodge.
Right, so that is not on the capital funds or capital improvement project. If we want to do it, that has to come 100% out of Fund 15.
Right, and I think that that we had identified that as under the A list under safety, and I think I don't have that in front of me. I think there was an estimate of maybe $4,000 for that.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we were gonna go with the safety things over the bleachers for like the parents and not really netting, but more of like the roof type thing.
Right. Okay. And then the other item that we talked about, and unfortunately Alan was predisposed at work at the night, was just a follow up on what do we need to do for the lighting for the flagpoles improvement there. I know we made a good faith attempt on one of the flagpoles, but it's just not bright enough, I guess. So I think
Yeah,
we
Jim
were
Welcome's attempt just was a failure. So Alan, we need your help.
There's no electricity out there, obviously, right? No,
Not out in that area.
we're gonna have to spend the money and get a good LED solar power light. There's got to be something out there. I'll do
Yeah.
some investigating on it.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right, well, let me know.
We
what you
might just
find.
have to spend the money to get the right thing. That's all.
All right, let me know what you find.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think those were the two follow-up things that that we talked about last. And then the other item I just want to throw out, and we can have some dialogue. And we know that we're kind of in limbo on this whole Howland Beach situation, guys. We thought that the selectmen were going to take some type of discussion and action on it, but I don't believe that they have. So we're coming up into the spring, summer months. It's going to be right upon us. So, and Tanya, you mentioned that to me on the phone today that you're not getting, you don't think you're going to have enough lifeguards regardless at this point. You want to
I mean,
comment?
I opened it up. I just posted it the other day. It's very hard to get into classes. We have right now 2 out of 9 lifeguards coming back. A couple moved out of state. A couple graduated from college, need real jobs. So right now we have 2, 1 full-time and 1 part-time. So, I mean, hopefully we get people that are qualified to apply, and then go from there. But
And you said our typical staff is of 9.
typically, yes, because you need 5 a day, 6 a day.
All right. So I think I'm going to make a very specific recommendation here, guys. I'm going to put, if the board is good, I'm going to put on the agenda for our April meeting. We're going to have a discussion on, Howland and Risha Beach, and hopefully by April we will know what we think we have. We'll have another 30 days of knowing what we may or may not have for lifeguards. I think we need to make a decision what we're doing at our April meeting. Is everyone comfortable with that?
Oh, 100%.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear everybody.
Yep.
Okay.
Go ahead, Sean.
Quick question. What is the criteria for the lifeguard position?
You have to be a waterfront and certified lifeguard. It's a class through the American Red Cross. So waterfront lifeguarding is typically a 35-hour class. It certifies you in lifeguarding, waterfront, CPR, AED, CPR, bloodborne pathogens. So waterfront particularly has to have it, versus just lifeguarding. Lifeguarding itself is only good at pools. So waterfront will let you now have lakes, ocean, and any body of water that's open. So it's typically about a 35-hour class.
Is there an age requirement?
You're allowed to take the class when you're 15. To work, you have to be 16, but people could take it at 15 to turn 16 and have it, and then it's good for 2 years. After 2 years, you have to do a recert every 2 years. I typically do research for our class, like the kids that like stay with us. I can do research because I'm an instructor. But I can't do a full class because we don't have a pool and we don't have a facility to teach 35 hours. The lake's just too cold.
Is there any way of promoting this at Gilbert or?
I try. I send it to like the principal. I send it out to like the swim teams and stuff, but it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. I hired basically all my sister's friends and they're all graduating. She's a senior. She's coming back part-time because this is her last summer and her friend's last summer. And then I'm in big trouble because I don't have any other sisters that are younger.
Thank you.
So we'll see. I mean, Pam posted it yesterday on the website. And I'm gonna try to pay something to put it in the newspaper as well. But you get a lot of people that apply that don't even know how to swim, which cracks me up.
Oh,
Okay, good question, Sean. So I learned something there too. Any other questions for our director at this point in time, folks? Okay, hearing none, we're going to move to item 7 here, which is we wanted to have a discussion. Tanya, we're going to ask you to kind of lead us in this. This was a request, and we talked a little bit about at our last meeting what potentially rec responsibilities are currently associated with East End Park, and then there appears to be some movement or direction for us to take some more responsibilities on. So if you want to take it from there.
Okay. As everyone knows, kind of East End Park is kind of like up in the air of who does what needs to be asked and where permission gets, and if someone was to charge, how much to charge, and everything is kind of like a big gray area. As we know, kind of the Christmas tree is ours, the outlet's ours, and we're in charge of the bandstand. The rest, technically, Public Works maintains, cleans up, does everything. And then any large groups, according to our town ordinances, must get approval from the Board of Selectmen. So there's a lot of different like groups that kind of pertain to it, and there's just so much gray area. So a lot of people like see the East End Park paperwork and want to use the park. And the question is, do we charge these groups to use the park? I mean, we don't have to clean it. I mean, it's just a lot of different gray areas. Like, is police needed? Is police not needed? So moving forward, I mean, people fill out the paperwork. I had one filled it out from Manchester. They want to use the park to advertise their like dance programs. Is that something we should charge for? Because I mean, they're not town residents. It's, like, what are our guidelines for this park?
well, it's
Well-
definitely non-resident out of towners should have to pay something to use our park.
But who's to stop them to use it and do a demonstration anyways?
Exactly.
You
Point
know,
taken.
I mean, why are they even filling out a form to do a demonstration and to dance on the park? You're not using the bandstand.
All right.
Why are they? I mean, is that a requirement or?
No one really knows. I mean, no one can really stop them. You can't stop protesters, it's a public park.
But
So
don't
even
you
if
have to
we
have,
give someone permission, someone else could go do something. It's a public park.
but aren't there requirements as far as group sizes and whatnot? Doesn't there come a point where there has to be some sort of permit for a certain size group?
I'm not sure, honestly, according to our town ordinances, it's not too clear. I know if they're vending or they're selling or like things like that, then yes, they have to have permission.
Or permits.
All right, well, I think I want to interject just a couple things for consideration. So we all had spent some time, I believe, recently, and technically East End Park in its entirety isn't under our auspices. Is that a correct statement?
To a sense,
Right? It's not, when you look at our listing, of our bylaws, and I think we looked at this a number of months ago. We finally found the I think it was the 2006 version,
right?
or the 2003 version. What's a couple of years? It really, within the Board of Recreation, it is not called, I don't believe it's called out. It's just, I just think it's called out as the bandstand, right?
Right,
Basically.
right. That's
Right.
the last
So-
thing that Alicia had on her thing in 2006 was the bandstand.
So you started the conversation about saying the existing ordinance, which is basically the law, indicates that those groups need to go to the selectmen, correct?
For groups over 500, it says.
For groups over 500. Okay.
Right.
Is that,
So
that's
what you're saying is,
does. Okay. Go ahead, Alan. Yeah.
so what you're saying is otherwise, if you're under 500 people, you don't need permission at all.
Unless there's another ordinance, I don't know.
I mean, all right. Sweet party at the green.
My point for just bringing this up for discussion is that we're making the assumption, just because it's a park, it falls under the auspices of the Recreation Department. Where we know right now, the only thing that we have in our bylaws indicate the bandstand, because we can make a case that the park, and I think I've mentioned this before, even though it's not really a park, the park that's down on the west end, where the monument is for the Korean War veterans, and I believe the Korean War there, that's a park. That we don't do anything with that. People can go there. There are picnic tables. It's along the river. So from my perspective, I think it that needs to be defined first, in my opinion, because I think that us just blindly taking this on may be more than we want to handle at this point. So
Right.
I would personally want to get some clarification about, who's really responsible for it. That would be my opinion to the group to consider.
Who answers that question?
Good
I
question.
guess either the mayor or the town manager.
I mean, they could go back maybe to the charter, and the charter states that they can direct us to take it over. But I would want that direction first before we as a board just go willy-nilly out and say, we're going to charge this much. We're going to, have this on our registration forms, and this is the actions we're going to take if someone's not following it.
That sounds like a whole lot of policing for something that we don't want. Right?
Well, I think the question comes is that, and it gets thrown back at Tanya, is that these events come to you. You don't have time to send it out to all the members of the board. You're making decisions based upon the information at hand, because
Right.
we're only meeting, every 3 to 4 weeks, so
Right.
so you're going to be the person who's going to be saying yay, nay, and dealing with all these things.
Right.
So that's why I'm trying just at this point to throw out to the group to say, do we need some more detail behind what's our responsibility and what's not our responsibility for this park? I mean, that's my opinion at this point. Because I'm gonna, and I've said this before, and it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with veterans or anything. But if we take this over, so if anybody wants to come in and use that park, and the veterans want to have an event there or something, they do it, and they don't come to us in advance. What are we going to do, guys?
Right.
Right.
I mean,
Right,
Brazen
so-
for a Reason never came to us or any of those other
Right.
programs. We just get small groups that want to come to us.
Yeah.
Or like farmer markets or people that want to sell things.
So I just, my personal opinion is I wanted to have some clarity of what's our responsibility around this park. We don't maintain it. It's not in our budget.
Right.
Right. It's right now it's technically closed during the winter, but someone basically, I don't know if it's the college, they basically keep the sidewalks open to go back and forth, right? Somebody keeps those sidewalks open. Somebody snow blows them. So I don't know. I just, I would not want the board, my opinion, the board just to rush into this. And I would want to not come back with a couple questions, whether it's to the selectmen and or the town manager. So I don't know what everyone else's opinion is.
I
Maybe
agree
we
with-
draft something to ask the
Town
selectmen.
manager or the other selectmen, yeah. Just to reiterate,
Diane, I'm sorry, Sean, go ahead.
I just, if I recall earlier, it was said that in our documentation, for lack of a better word, we do take responsibility for the bandstand, but that's all that is in our documentation.
Right. So in our charter, it states the bandstand is ours. If you want to use that, you need permission. And then the Christmas tree is technically ours. And I believe that outlet's ours.
So yeah, drafting a letter to maybe both the selectman and the town manager, according to our understanding, this is all that we're responsible for. Yet we continue to be approached, from other groups for use of other parts of the park. Who is responsible?
Right. Right.
I also think as long as I've been on and Kurt, we've always just had the bandstand. Right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. And,
It's always just
once
the
again,
bandstand, so.
So I think where it gets confusing is there's a sheet, it's on the town's website and it's I didn't make it, so it had to be from like many years. It is East End Park Facility Use Application. And basically it says our name on it. It says the sponsoring organization, responsible party, the address, the dates that you want to use it. Is asked for a certificate of insurance, if police will be needed, what equipment, and then is asked specifically if you will be using the bandstand. And then it gives you a little rundown and then for people to sign it and for us to sign it. So I think that's where a lot of confusion comes into place is they're asking if it's not just for the bandstand, for the entire park. So if you guys take a second to go on the Town of Winchester's website, it is under general recreation forms.
Ooh,
I'll take a look at that tomorrow.
yeah,
I think the other thing is, like for example, like Soldiers Monument. I didn't realize that if you want to use Soldiers Monument, the Soldier Monument Committee, they have their own registration form and usage form too. Which I found that very interesting. I found that just fumbling around a couple of weeks ago. And they manage it that way. I just I want to open it up to other members to talk a little bit more about this. I don't want to I've kind of said what I wanted to say.
Tanya, real quick, what was the name of that form again on the town website?
So when you're on, go to recreation.
Website, departments, recreation, okay.
And now go to general forms,
General
On the left.
recreation forms.
and then you'll see it says East End Park application.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
If I can add in here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Oh, she's sharing it. I'm sorry. The selectmen at that time asked me to add it probably in 2005, 2006. So we created that form because there were so many people that were just appearing at the park and they wanted some control over it. I thought that it should have been in the clerk's office, but they wanted it done through recreation in the
Okay.
whole park. So it was a request back then. I don't know if it was formal. I don't know if there was anything that was written, but I created that form and because I want to say that Candy, especially Mayor Perez, said that they didn't want people just appearing there, especially without the certificates of insurance. So they had asked us to do that. So, I know it was created then because I did it, but do I agree with having to do it? Not necessarily, because you're not around to police it all the time. And that's the big thing, it's just like if someone shows up on the ball fields and they don't have anything, who's policing it? And that's really what it comes down to, except that the police could go and say, where's your form for this? But there's no signage at the park saying, gatherings of larger than need permission. So there's no signage to follow through with what
Right.
the thing is.
Right. So I think the whole thing with the mayor now is, though, Alicia, is that she wants to charge for groups that are asking, that are either benefiting from it or selling things or that aren't in town.
She wanted to that back then. That's why we have all those fees.
Okay.
So this goes back to that.
Right. So then it comes into play of, well, if they fill it out through us, then it has to go to the police department. The police department has to decide if police is necessary. I can't decide that. I don't know.
It went through everybody. It kind
Right.
of was one of those things that went from department to department. So it wasn't a last minute thing. You had to really schedule it and plan
Mhm.
it. And that way, then it was actually put on the town calendar as well. So
Right.
that any people who did rent it, it was on the town calendar and they could see. Because that was what was happening, was that selectmen and other people were driving by the park and they were
Okay.
like, who is this? Who is that? Who's there? We didn't know about it. So if it
So
wasn't
did you guys have like a chain of command of like the process that it went through? Like, did it go to you first, then the police, and then the
yes,
public
yes,
works?
yes.
Would you be
yes.
able to find that somewhere that we can like
Hey, Kurt,
redo it, or?
do you have it in any of your notes? You seem to, Kurt Root, you have everything. I bet you have it.
Yeah, I'll have to go through the archive in my,
Well, Kurt
in my,
Root's
in
the
my,
archive. He's the archive man. He seems to find stuff. I don't know if it was that way
well,
or if
no,
it was just
I
verbal.
inherited a lot
Oh,
of
okay.
stuff.
Okay.
But just to interject a little bit more, regarding this, is you were full time back then,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's one of my concerns, that is that
Mhm.
people are going to want to have plan ahead, and they're going to want to have timely responses. And you're at whatever, you're 13 and a half or 18 hours now, and that's my concern
Right.
for that. I think we kind of, for the most part, can manage the stuff that are what we're currently managing. I'm a little bit concerned also about opening it up, and then, oh, by the way, especially during the summer and fall time period, we could have stuff going on there every weekend or something.
Mhm.
And then the first thing will happen is well, the recreation department didn't approve our permit in time, so on and so forth. So I just want to be very careful, in my opinion, before we actively engage, if we agree to do this, first and foremost. That's all.
Tanya, I think it
Because-
said on there that it had to be submitted a minimum of 30 days prior to the event.
I think it does say somewhere along those
Somewhere,
lines. Yes.
I think,
Yeah.
because we needed 2 weeks for everybody to go through it. But pretty much like at the department, I mean, it was pretty quick, but just at the department meeting, we kind of passed it around and everybody would kind of take a consensus of it. Really,
Right,
it
right.
wasn't
Which is
that big
hard
of a
now
deal.
because we honestly haven't had a department head meeting in 6 months.
It needs to go through the clerk's office. There's no reason why it can't go through the clerk's office.
Right, right. No, I agree.
Okay. Any other input from any other board members on this topic?
I mean,
'Cause
I
I'd
basically
like
think
if-
at this
like
point, we
Eric-
should just really get Candy involved. She's the one that wants answers and to charge and you know, maybe she can answer our questions and talk about it.
Well, I can easily draft a letter. I can draft a letter easily to her and Bob Geiger and say, you know, the board, we've discussed this in some length at our meeting tonight. And we're apprehensive at this point in time, and we're not quite sure what direction or directions, you know,
Right.
we should be. We would like to have some further guidance and clarification on items.
Yeah, and
Leave
I
it at
think the
that.
sooner the better, because I mean, people are gonna start following them out because they're gonna want to do farmer markets, or the lady that wanted to use it last year is gonna start filling it out. I mean, there's
Right.
gonna be a lot of requests probably very soon.
You and I'll draft something out tomorrow and get it out before
Okay.
the week's end.
All right.
Shouldn't be that difficult. And it's just, and once again, I'm not fully against this, guys. I just want to make sure that we're organized and we fully understand, you know, what this really means, because it's very unclear to me at this point. And, you know, no one ever calls, you know, hey, can I use East End Park? And then what are we going to do if someone calls up and says, hey, we got a group of folks down there at East End Park. Well, what are they doing? I don't know. I don't have a permit for them. You know, that's the whole thing about it. At least at our fields that we know, if there's something that's not right going on down there, I think any board member has the right basically to go up and ask the individuals, hey, do you have a permit? Do you have this? Do you have that? At East End Park, I would feel, lack of a better word, completely naked going in and challenging somebody about their right to use that park, right?
Yeah.
Given at the time. I don't know how anyone else feels, but that's how I feel, at least for East End Park.
That makes sense.
So, you know. Okay, so we'll close that topic. I will draft something out. We'll run it by. I'll send it out to everybody just to proof it real quick, and we'll get it out in the next couple of days to Bob Geiger and Candy to give us some additional clarification and feedback on. Okay. Anything else, East End Park? If not, we'll move on. Does anyone want to talk anything about old business, which is item number 8? Is that 2 costs of yes there from you, Alan, or no?
No, I'm all set on old business.
Okay, good. All right. So hearing that on old business, anyone want to chat about new business? Which is item 9. Okay, hearing none there. I'll just kind of go around, chat with everybody. So Sean, everything's good with you?
Going all right.
All right. You're going all right. That's good. Alicia, everything's good with you?
Very busy. Sorry, I missed last month's meeting. I was
Oh,
on a phone
and-
call with someone and just didn't get the chance to get off. And real estate's busy. I'm sure Diane will say the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
I know. I know because my daughter's, I have to go sign some paperwork tomorrow up in Canaan to power of attorney so that she can sell her house at the Cape. So I know it's very, very, very quick and aggressive nowadays. So, all right. We've got Kurt Root. How are you? Good.
Good. Actually, I have a
Cool.
question for you guys that's not related to the rec board. Hey, I want to replace my sidewalk. The town doesn't have anything to do with our sidewalk, right?
Nope.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
I actually talked to Bob about that last year when he was next door. And he said, if the town put it in, it doesn't matter. As soon as you own the property, it's up to you to maintain
Yeah.
it.
All right. That's
So-
what I figured.
I'm gonna be doing mine shortly too, so.
So who do I
It's a
see
slip,
for a
slip, and
permit?
fall
I just go
hazard.
down, town hall for a permit
Not
to
the
get that done?
recreation department.
Probably Public Works.
Kurt, just
Public
tear it
work.
up and pour a new one in. The heck with permits.
I'd ask Pam. She's very knowledgeable and knows a lot about that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Sorry, Pam.
All right. Alan, how are you? Good? Other than you just go ahead and do it without a permit. No, sorry.
No,
All right. You're good. All
I'm-
right.
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a long couple months. I apologize for missing the past couple meetings, but it's been a heck of a winter.
It has been, you know, spring's right around the corner. Jamie,
Thank
how
you.
are you? Good?
I'm doing well.
All right, kids are well,
Yes, good.
everyone's healthy?
Yes, we are all good.
Okay. All right, and Diane, everything's good down the street?
Everything's good. Everything's fine down here.
Water flows downhill. All right. Tanya, you're good. You know, you got your officiating going and in full gear right now, right?
Yeah, I head to Pennsylvania next weekend, and I got games basically every weekend after this.
Right. And myself, I'm doing good. I've actually, as you get older, you loosen up. I actually bought a brand new truck 2 weeks ago. It's been some good. Oh, you'll be seeing me driving around town in a silver Ram 1500 with 4 doors on. It's got more bells, whistles than you can shake
Wow.
a stick. It'll probably a full year to understand everything that's on it. So, but it's like driving night and day. And you get the heated steering wheel, you get everything. It's pretty neat. So
Wow.
top notch. All right. So with that said, at this point, I think we'll be planning for a Zoom meeting in April. At this point, I think that's appropriate. So with that said, key takeaways. Thanks for everybody for attending tonight. Unfortunately, Brian couldn't join us. He made a good faith attempt. He was in attendance as far as I'm concerned. So we will take a motion for adjournment from somebody we have a time of 8:01. If somebody want to make that motion?
I will.
Okay, Sean, did I hear you?
Alicia and I both did pay eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Okay, Alicia, you're going to make the motion, and Sean, you're going to second that. Is that good?
That works.
Perfect.
That works.
It works. Okay, everyone, be safe, and we'll be on the lookout for this quick letter that I'll be sending out that I just mentioned next couple days, and then we'll see everybody Zoom meeting for our April meeting. Okay, everyone, enjoy the rest of the.
Kurt, I'm gonna send you over all the schedules I have tomorrow.
Oh yeah, do that. Send
Right.
it to work, and then I'll start putting together. Hey, is Jim at the field, or is he down at spring training?
No, he didn't
Usually
go to
goes
spring
down.
this year. No, he didn't go.
Oh, he didn't.
Nope.
You saw my other email about tenure there too, or no?
Yeah, I'll talk to him tomorrow.
Yeah. Don't talk to him specifically, but do some digging, because I think it's been quite lengthy,
Okay.
and I think it makes time to do something there. You know what I'm
Well, I
saying?
know he's been there longer than I've been alive, so.
Yeah. So
68.
okay.
68.
68, Alicia said.
68.
Yeah.
Clear's your answer.
I remember him doing that when he was in high school.
Yes. He told me that, and it permeated in my head because that's the year I was born. So I was like, oh my God, you started the year I was born. So that's
Yeah,
how I'll never forget.
Yeah,
Well,
I
there you go.
remember. I remember I think I remember that was his senior year in high school, and I remember he kind of did that part time, and then I remember seeing him down there every summer since then. Even when I went to high school in the mid '70s, So so if you do the math, he
52.
it's 50 years, 52 years, guys. Agreed. So I think that I know I know he doesn't like to be honored, but I think I can do something, personally with him. I think that, just drive down to the field and give him something. I think that would go a long
You
way,
can put balloons on the back of his lawnmower.
or something. So yeah, just double check that date, and then we'll come up with something. All right.
Sounds good.
All right. Appreciate everybody. Thank you.
All right, good night.
Good night.
Have a good
See you
night.
guys.
See you, boys.